Hi everyone, the goal of this video is to develop a definition of social psychology, and I want to do that by thinking about how social psychology is related to psychology in general, as well as some of the other subfields of psychology. And once we understand that, I want to briefly think about how psychology fits into the family of sciences. Let's start with a definition of psychology. Psychology is the scientific study of behavior and the mind, so psychologists are interested in everything we can see a person do, their behavior, and also everything we think is going on in a person's mind, even if we can't see it. Thinking just about behavior, psychologists are interested in smiling, learning to walk, how we do on tests, how we treat one another, including actions like helping others and discriminating against others. And psychologists are also interested in how we treat ourselves. Thinking just about the mind, psychologists are interested in how we make decisions, how we learn, how we love, how we forgive, and generally how we feel. Obviously, that's a lot of things to study, and it's only a very partial list. No one psychologist studies everything that could be considered psychology. Instead, there are subfields that describe a psychologist's focus or interest. For example, developmental psychology is the scientific study of the mind and behavior across the lifespan from when we are born until we die. Cognitive psychology is the scientific study of basic mental abilities such as perception, learning, and memory. So what about social psychology? There is no ultimate definition of social psychology, or any psychology, but I like this one. The scientific study of the way in which people's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are influenced by the real or imagined presence of other people. In other words, how do other people influence our behavior and our mind, and how do we influence them? I want to highlight what I think is an often overlooked part of this definition, though. That's the imagined presence of others. So it's not just people, but thinking about people that influences our behavior and thoughts. Consider this. Does your boss need to stare over your shoulder for you to start working harder? Or is just thinking about your boss staring over your shoulder enough to get you working harder? The answer is probably sometimes yes and sometimes no. Social psychologists want to know when the answer is yes and when it's no. The final thing I want to do in this video is highlight one similarity among these definitions, and that is the phrase scientific study. For now, I want to suggest that just as there are many subfields of psychology, psychology is one of many subfields of science. Before you start the next video, I want to challenge you to think about what the common thread might be that ties all these different disciplines together.